You're listening to From a Certain Point of Skew, the only Star Wars podcast that's still nursing a celebration hangover and reeling in pain about Andor Season 2. Not as bad as B2 Emo driving full speed into a combine after discovering he's all alone after finding a certain someone's leftover carcass, but close. The Force is strong with Hayden's return, and we're on the fence whether Gosling's fat ass can fit in a Jedi robe and Darth Maul is returning to star in his own animated series. Finally, the first 3 episodes of Andor Season 2 have dropped, and we have more thoughts than a fascist on a coffee break being propagandized by the Ministry of Enlightenment. Cassian finds himself neck-deep in jungle politics and a dangerous game of Rochambeau, while Mon Mothma 2 steps over a grave predicament with her high school boyfriend.
Jason that guy here, broadcasting live from inside Wookiee Poo Studios. That's the best you're going to get out of me because I never sleep. Darth Matthews, you're on for the next hour.
Just occasionally wake up and say, what? Mon? What?
This is, every time I hear her name, it's going to take me out of my narcolepsy stir.
It's a busy week. Mm-hmm. Not just for you and your work and all the things that you've got going on in mine, but a lot of stuff going on in Star Wars in the past week. We knew this was coming.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it when we get to the Andor stuff, because I think it's going to be difficult to toe the line of doing our usual look through the episode versus saving stuff for later. Because we were talking about doing a summer thing where we're going to go back.
Where we go into detail later.
Yeah. So what I think is it's going to be hard to not go into some details here. So I think we're just, and when we get there, we'll talk about it a little bit more, but essentially let's just go through each episode and talk on the major stuff and kind of give our thoughts and everything. And then maybe, in the summer when we come back and circle around on each episode, maybe we can make little, almost like a game of it. Like, hey, what was your favorite quote of this? Who was your favorite background character? Who was your favorite death? All those kinds of things, and kind of attack it from that perspective.
Well, I think we'll be able to add more to the single episodes as well, because unless we're going to be here for 3 hours. But you know what? You've got the sheet, you've got the details, so I'm just here for the ride. So
then I'm happy that you're handing me the wheel.
Yeah.
Matthias, take the wheel. So if you would like to find our show from a certain point of skew.com, you can find us on all the social media accounts. Ooh, is that better for me to say it that way? Ooh, you fucker.
Well, hey, he's offering to send us. Where was he sending us to?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that part.
Was it Celebration? All we have to do is do the Bitcoin thing or whatever, put it on the show. And he's like, I'll send you guys. And I was like, so I sent you the text. And I was like, dude, we're going. And then you didn't even respond. You're like, this sounds too kind.
I laughed about it because of the fact that he's like, I love how he mentions Blue Sky and Threads every week. I'm like, hey, we have followers there. We get some interaction, so fuck off. Anyway, at FactPapod. FactPapod@gmail is our email, and you can leave us a voicemail, 678-322-7277. I mentioned last week we're coming up on the May the 4th FactPa Stories Volume 4. Mm-hmm. Jay, you've been busily writing, frantically writing. And so I think we're going to have quite a number of stories. We did get one already from Alberto from Radio Rebellion. So he not only wrote it, but he recorded it. So we have that. I just need to add some accoutrements to it to make sure
I got one out to Dan, and I just got the recordings back. I'll send those your way if you want to start playing with those while I continue writing.
I will do that.
And I got stuff on the back burner because I came up with an idea I sent you. So that's written. Now I'm that was the rough part. Now I'm going through and kind of giving it a polish, and then I'll hand that out to you to do your bit. Should be this weekend. Yeah,
the nice thing about that one is it's us. So I don't have to do any crazy voices or get any AI robotic voices included in there. And then I think we might have some new ads too. I don't know. You've been working on a lot.
Been working on those. And we just have to emote, and say the words properly, which I'm not going to do that. Oh, you know what it was? It was Ua wants us to go to Vegas to the Empire Strips Back. Because that's where he lives. So I think he's just looking for some companionship. So
he doesn't want to go alone.
I'll bring you guys out. And I was like, all right. Because he was asking if me and my lady friend, if we were going to go out this year. And I was like, we spent way too much on spring break. It ain't happening this year. Yeah. So it's like, well, I'll bring you guys out. You and Matt.
All right. We're in.
All right. Let's do it.
Just to round that out, if anybody has any FactPa Stories last minute, send it to us. I'm sure we'll do another one in the fall, probably. So you can get it on that one next time. But if you have anything, send it to us as quickly as possible because we want that episode out May the 4th.
Because I know all of you guys are clamoring for more writing by me. Thank you.
Of course. I love it.
On the show today, no writing, but we've got question of the week, Too Close for Comfort, in the news, 2 things, Kennedy rumors again, and a new Star Wars series from the Cuses.
I think that's how you say it.
Well, that works for me. I was like the Cuses, but yeah, I know who you're talking about. Star Wars Celebration recap, and then we're going to go into Andor Season 2, Episode 1, 1 year later. Shocking. Episode 2, Sagrona Teema.
Close.
That was on purpose. Okay. Episode 3, Harvest, and then we'll go to the Maul Bag. Of course, we've got one from the one and only Blue Elephant.
Question of the week. I put out, and I got the picture there for you too, that it was that shot that we saw from the Turn the Lights Off clip with Dedra and Syril. And I said, it appears that Dedra and Syril are well into a romantic arrangement in season 2 of Andor. What are their day-to-day idiosyncrasies that annoy each other?
Do you think it's romantic in the sense, like, do you think it's sexual? Actually, no, I'll go the other way. Do you think it's romantic?
Well, that's a good question. It could be more transactional.
yeah, like procreate just for children, so it hasn't happened yet because they're not there.
Could you see her as a mother or him as a father? Oh my God!
I tell you what, I can see her as a woman that doesn't let her man take shit from anything.
That's true. She's very protective. We'll talk about that because I think we kind of sort of thought that might happen. So Adelphi Rangers says he's annoyed that she has memorized all the specs of the Incom T-65B X-Wing and keeps telling everyone about them, only off screen. She's annoyed that he keeps calling her mommy in bed.
Oh, yeah.
Mother, you're dripping.
Yeah, that's not the first time he said that.
Next up, Max Rebo says she leaves the blue milk out. Oh, can't do that. That's disgusting. He coordinates his tailored thong with her granny panties.
Oh.
You think she's wearing granny panties? Not a chance.
I don't think she wears panties.
I think if it is, it's a thong.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
I Am Anakin's father says Cyril's daily ritual of using a lint roller on his pajamas, both before and after sleeping, annoys the heck out of Dedra. Dedra's obsession with Coruscant's HoloNet soap opera superstar Hunk drives Syril nuts. Maybe. I could definitely see him lint rolling his pajamas, though. He's got some OCD stuff going on. Brown Leader from Hyperspace Hero says Dedra normally listens to heavy industrial synth music, popular on Corellia, when she's preparing food, but he can only perform to slow jizz. Wow. Good. Good answers. And you all get entries in our giveaway, which I should remind folks that if you send us emails, the voicemails, do our question of the week, write us reviews, etc., you do get entries into our giveaway. We're giving away copies of the Reign of the Empire Mask of Fear book at the end of the Andor season. So please participate. In the news, how many times are we going to do this with Kennedy?
I mean, as many times as the internet wants to make it a thing.
I guess. Like, until she finally leaves, we're not going to really know what's happening because it's just another week, another rumor. This time it was from Jeff Schneider, who normally has pretty accurate information. He was saying that she's going to step down in August of this year, which is not too outlandish considering all the other discussions that have happened so far. And the fact that, like, I don't think she has a new contract or whatever, but he throws it out there again. And then just as soon as he throws it out, everybody comes back around and goes, no, it's not true.
Right. So, I'm guessing it's probably more right than it's not, where like that's probably the time frame, give or take a month, right? But I don't know if that's like the exact right, because I would guess by now they probably, within the walls of Lucasfilm, they have the successor, right? But I guess that's going to come down to like how well that process is going to go from one to the other and when they want to announce everything. But now that they've got a movie that's going to be happening, shooting, this probably saves them. But we'll get to that because I've got a lot of questions about stuff that wasn't discussed.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get into that here in a second when we talk about Celebration. The other thing is that there was this was also from Jeff Schneider. So I guess take it with a grain of salt. Although I think another source confirmed this. Former Lost writer Carlton, you said Cuse?
Yeah,
I always think of Syracuse, so I always want to call it Cuse. Either way.
Carlton Cuse, yeah. Carlton
and his son Nick got a little, I almost said pedophilia. That's not the word.
Oh.
Nope, not necrophilia. Nepotism. There we go.
Oh.
Look at my mind.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, he's been involved in this is the first time him and his dad are working together.
I know. I was just kidding.
Yeah. But I mean, he was brought in from Damon Lindelof, I think, originally when, I can't remember what show it was that he was brought in with him. Was it Leftovers? I think it was on Leftovers.
Yeah. And Lindelof has a great track record with Star Wars. So this will go well.
Well, sure.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But there's no details shared. It's just literally saying that there's this series that apparently they're working on writing for Disney Plus, which is going to be a Star Wars series. It makes you wonder, okay, is it going to be some sort of, given his history with Lost and all that stuff, is it going to be some sort of mystery series? He worked on like Jack Ryan and stuff, so
you could do ensemble action.
Yeah.
Nick worked on I think The Watchmen with Lindelof.
Okay.
Which is, you're taking a very, very popular sacred property and making a sequel out of it. And I don't know if you ever read The Watchmen or watched that series, but it was amazing.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it.
Like probably one of the best I've seen in the last decade.
So this is in good hands.
Oh, it's very good hands. And what's your speculation? I think they're now this could get some hate, and maybe it's not a complete reboot or sequel because you're taking a show that was kind of like created by a woman and you're putting two men involved. So you can have that political fight all you want, but I think they're going to continue with The Acolyte.
You think they're going to come in to continue that series and Leslie Headland will be out?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. If you look at like everybody talking about how many views there were, some of the shit I see still is like, God, there was some good shit in that show. I just think there was some shit that just wasn't handled right. And if you want to, this is probably one of those things that were Disney, Lucasfilm, Kennedy, somebody was like, let's see if we can get someone to come in here and pitch. What can we do? How can we fix this if we're going to continue? And then these two have an idea. And wow, if you're going to have anybody jump in that's been in TV for 30-something years, and look at, Cuses has been was it Nash Bridges?
Yeah.
Briscoe County Jr. He did the Bates Motel. He's been involved in just property after property that's been huge. So
Briscoe does that mean that we're going to get Bruce Campbell?
Oh, we better. Yeah.
He makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting theory because to just pick up where she left off and run with the same show. I mean, I get you don't want to lose some of these characters you've brought into the mix because there's some really good ones to play with there, especially Chimere. But would it be that, or would they just be doing their own mystery series and be like, this is how we're going to do it? It's kind of got a similar vibe as far as like it's going to involve Sith, but it's going to be a different story.
If anything, they're going to carry, Mr. fucking single blade inside my lightsaber.
Biceps?
Yeah.
Yeah, the biceps of death. He was at Celebration. Well, yeah, I'm interested to see what they do because at this point, after Ahsoka 2, we don't have any live action series that are queued up. So let's get something in the mix.
My guess for that was more so just that Cuses is known for the mystery stuff, and that's the Acolyte was presented as like this mystery thing. And I think that was the part that kind of didn't work, right?
It fell a little flat.
If they want to continue with like that kind of theme, he's the one that's going to be able to carry that over.
Yeah, it was one of those where the mystery involved in the Acolyte, it was all stuff we're like, well, that's this. And then it was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
there weren't a lot of twists. It was all kind of stuff we sort of expected.
Right.
So yeah, I think like you talked about at the time, the execution was not exactly great on certain things, but there was a lot of good stuff there that you could, continue to play with. So, All right. So on to Star Wars Celebration. Did you watch any of the stuff live on YouTube that they showed?
No.
Because they did show some of the panels, but then they would cut away when they would show,
I know.
Oh, we're going to show a trailer now, and they would just leave. They also had that live stage, which is always kind of fun because it's got all those different people that have been on those panels coming out and talking just in a little, I was going to say a more intimate manner, but it's not because you're surrounded by fucking 1,000 people going crazy. But there was some pretty cool.
And now we're going to watch you pee.
Yeah, right. Exactly. He's going to the bathroom. Live cam. And they had to shoot t-shirts out in the crowd and stuff. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was some fun stuff, and we got quite a number of updates. They talked about the movies at first, So and we'll get to Levy here in a second and the Mando Grogu stuff. But they also sort of mentioned how they were like, okay, the Kinberg trilogy's coming. I think these are all things Kennedy said. The Obaid Chinoy film she mentioned again. James Mangold she mentioned again. So all those she said were still in the works. She also referenced Taika Waititi. It was like he's on Taika time, so essentially waiting for him to be available.
Which she said before, yeah. He must have a really good idea, or there's something they're really good for, because she hasn't like offered this whatever project to someone else. Like she's allowing the time to happen.
Right, and maybe she feels like it's no skin off their nose to just kind of be like, go ahead, whenever you're ready, bring us your thing, and then if we don't like it, we're just gonna tell you fuck off.
That's true. She doesn't have a problem doing that either.
It's right. But they also, or it was mentioned, I don't know if it was then, or later, I can't remember, that Tony McNamara is going to co-write it.
Yeah, that was released. I think it was after Celebration.
Oh, was it after? Okay. And what is
the
what has he done
screenwriter
again?
of The Favorite? He did The Favorite. He did Poor Things.
Something called The Great.
It's a Hulu series with Ella Fanning.
I'm not familiar with his stuff, but he's coming in to co-write apparently to help with that with Taika. So we'll see when that happens. I mean, I'm not holding my breath. Right. I think it's one of those things that maybe we'll get, but it's not going to be for 5 years. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And then Filoni talked a little bit about his project, not a ton, but basically said how he's got an outline. He's got some scenes worked out, but he's kind of said it's all fluid. It's because depending on how everything continues to shake out with Ahsoka season 2 and the Mando Grogu film and all that, it could affect what he's going to do in his film. So all those things still in the mix. But yeah, the one of the bigger surprises, I guess you could say, was when the Levy came out right at the beginning. Like it's the Mando Grogu showcase, and they bring out Levy right away.
Right.
He confirmed the rumors are true, brings out Gosling. Everybody goes crazy. The name of the movie is Star Wars Starfighter, and it's due out May 28th, 2027, and they begin filming this fall. It's supposed to take place a few years after The Rise of Skywalker, so post-sequels, but not directly related to those characters.
Right. Yep.
What are your thoughts? Thoughts on the title?
I like the title.
Do you?
I do.
I kind of felt like it was like, okay.
There's a video game that was called Starfighter.
Oh, was there?
Right? Was it on like the PlayStation 2 or something?
Oh, I'm sure it's got great graphics. It's got it sounds old.
Yeah. I don't know if it's any relation to that or not, but yeah, I think there was a video game called Starfighter.
All right. Well, very excited about this project. I just thought that's a kind of interesting
What
title.
was the synopsis was like, what is it? Like he's like the uncle to a 15-year-old boy, and they're being hunted by a female and male villain. We're guessing they're Sith or Sith adjacent.
Right, yeah. They said for casting purposes, they've got Gosling and they got a 15-year-old boy who's supposed to be. It's his nephew. Right. I didn't realize it was his nephew. Okay, and then there's going to be someone's going to be his mother is going to be in it. Mm-hmm. And then there's going to be, like you said, 2 villains, one of which is supposed to be Jesse Plemons.
I'm guessing the mother's not long for this universe because that's probably why the kid runs off with the uncle.
It probably seems like you're going to die pretty quick. Yeah.
Right.
Star Wars not kind to mothers.
No. And the casting's been weird though, because there's been like announcement after announcement, and Greta Lee turned it down.
Oh, I thought Greta Lee was in. It was Mikey Madison.
Mikey Madison turned it down. So did Jodie Comer, and there was a fourth person that Sarah Snook.
Snook.
Yeah, you've got
they've all turned it down. I just heard they were rumored.
The same role. I don't know if it was the same role because one of these was for the villain, and I think there was maybe the mother or something too. I just imagine it's just all this information comes out from like an hour of Levy making phone calls going, Sarah? Nope. Okay, never mind. Jodie?
He's
Nope.
just calling down a list.
She said no, texting. Well, it's exciting that it's moving forward. Like he's like, we're in pre-production, we're filming this fall, stuff's moving.
Right.
So and then the fact that they've got a date is even better.
I'm curious to who the 15-year-old kid's going to be. A lot of people are thinking it's going to be the breakout star from was it Adolescence? I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
God, that's the one with Stephen Graham.
Yeah, it looks
that
excellent.
Looks tough to watch. That looks like a tough one.
I guess that kid's amazing in it.
Yeah, I was going to send my son to try to get cast in it too. It might be too late.
Okay, yeah.
Never acted in his life. So yeah, back to the Mando Grogu film. There were some fun nuggets on that film. They showed some stills and at least kind of behind the scenes stuff. And they showed Sigourney Weaver in a New Republic X-Wing pilot outfit.
Yeah, that was shocking.
I didn't see that necessarily coming that way. Although or did we figure she was going to be more Empire type?
Yeah, I was thinking villain. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she's going to be one of the good guys. She was surrounded by a bunch of those BD droids in this picture. They also showed Zeb with Din Djarin, so we know we're going to get Zeb. Mm-hmm. And they showed Pedro in the costume, Sol helmet. And then they showed some footage, and I guess some of it was kind of stuff they showed before, right? Like 2 years ago, it was that it's him, blasting his way through a bunch of snow troopers. This time it just showed that it was on an AT-AT or within an AT-AT.
Yeah, right.
So
sounds like it's very John Wick. Is what the way they made it sound, like the way he moves and goes from one to the other, and the camera just follows and. Like a single action scene is what they showed, right?
Yeah, I saw the video. Did you not see the video?
Oh, motherfucker, you didn't send it to me.
I sent it to you. I sent you a lot of DMs, and I've realized that there is about a 2 DM quota before you just check out and don't read the above. I'll send you stuff sometimes.
I might not respond to it, but I read them.
Oh, do you? Okay. Because sometimes
yeah.
I'll send you like 3 or 4 and you don't respond, or sometimes you'll send me the same exact story.
Yes. But
an hour later.
Notice I do that, but I've not read them yet. And then I'm like, oh, I've got DMs here. Let me look at those. Yeah, we've done that quite a bit. Yep.
Yeah, it was one of those over the shoulder shots or whatever from some guy in the crowd, you know.
Okay.
And so you could see some of the footage, and so there was it was just that kind of that sequence of him working his way through some snow troopers.
So was it John Wick like?
I've never seen John Wick, if you can believe that. Yeah,
Wow.
never seen it.
What is church like on Tuesday night for you?
You know what? I promise you that I'll get to it. I actually saw something about John Wick the other day, and I was like, I never saw that movie. I should watch that movie. I have a weird list of movies I've never seen that you would like be appalled by.
That's fair. I've got that list too.
So like, well, because you haven't even seen like the fucking Godfather, right?
I tried watching that and I was bored and I shut it off.
Okay, all right. Fuck, you call yourself a cinephile.
I know.
Anyway, I guess the Razor Crest is back, or I should say a Razor Crest is back.
Yeah, I heard that.
We also got a shot of Rhoda the Buff, is what I was calling him.
Yeah.
That is insane. So Jeremy Allen White's going to voice this character. It's Rhoda from the Clone Wars when he was just a little ball. Right. But now he's fucking yoked.
What was it? What was his name? Slinky or
Stinky?
Stinky.
And now he's a gladiator, I guess.
Oh yeah, you get called Stinky as a youth by all the kids. You're gonna fucking put on weight.
Yeah, you're gonna. You know? Yeah, right. He was hitting the gym as soon as he could.
Apparently, the only thing you couldn't work out was that rump, though.
No, he's still got to have that. Well, he does a lot of glute workouts and stuff. He wants to have that bubble butt.
Yeah, okay.
So that looks crazy. Mm-hmm. To have him as a gladiator, I didn't see that coming. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, because like I'm trying to think, even his arms seem much bigger. Like, doesn't Jabba, not like T-Rex arms, but
they're bigger than that. Yeah,
are they?
But they're just kind of, they don't do much.
Right. All I can picture is him like chucking food in his mouth. So.
Right. Yeah, and using that tongue a lot.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That was kind of it for Mando Grogu. There was the Andor panel, and obviously you can touch on some of the stuff when we get into the episode breakdown. But one thing to note is that both Luna and Arhonia said that they'd love to do another story that kind of covers the relationship and how it builds between season 1 and season 2.
Yeah.
Like they're going to go back and do a show about that. I don't see that happening.
Well, they could love to all they want, but that'd be just like how do you like get your relationship back on good terms after all of that trauma? After
all that trauma and in the midst of him leaving all the time to go fucking do these missions.
Yeah.
Makes it kind of tough. Because it was one of those things where when the series first started out, I was sitting there going, this season, I was thinking, has he been gone for the year and is coming back? And then I realized, oh no, he's been like going back and forth all the time. Like, they've been seeing him.
No, are they really married, or was she just saying that?
I think she's just saying that.
Okay. Yeah,
that would be my guess. In her heart, they're married.
Mm-hmm.
Then Gilroy, and I think this was at a separate interview, he was talking about how he finished the season 2 scripts less than a week before the writer's strike, and then they had time to do the SAG before the SAG strike kicked in to do the filming and all that stuff because he wasn't involved. And he was even saying like how they literally accounted for the rye fields in the English Midlands to grow to a certain point so they could film that stuff.
That's crazy.
I fucking love that for Mina Rao. He also, in that interview, he talked about recasting a legacy character. And then all you motherfuckers who got the goddamn season early started making little hints. And the next thing you know, people have like figured out who it is. You fuckers, keep it in your pants.
I can't do that better.
I'm sick of this shit.
Yeah. There needs to be like a part of Twitter where you can hit a button, or you know how like when you're on Twitter you've got the your following and for you. Right. There's like a third one where like you don't give a shit if shit's just blown for you.
Right. Right. It's really annoying because yes, we like to speculate and we dig around and find certain things, but like if you're giving away that kind of stuff, that's bullshit. I feel like if you're given the opportunity to get a season early, you should be mum's the fucking word until it's time to talk about it.
Oh yeah, I hope they have agents knocking down these doors, and then we don't say anything until it's time. So give us the seasons, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
we're gonna keep it to ourselves. Yeah. Fuck, we'll probably forget half of it anyway.
That's very true.
More on that later, I guess. Ahsoka. Season 2 stuff. They had some fun updates there. They showed that some shots of Some still shots of Rory McCann, who's taken over Balin.
Yes.
I thought he looked pretty good.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, rest in peace, Ray Stevenson. It sucks that it can't be him continuing it. It's going to be different, but
Right.
it sounds like they were kind of homies. It sounds like the family of Ray Stevenson was fully on board for this. They were very cautious about how they approached this, which I thought was nice. And you could tell that it like got to the cast. Like Filoni was kind of getting emotional talking about him.
The guy's got a really good screen presence from Game of Thrones and what I've seen of him, but
it's not the same.
Right.
We'll have to let ourselves get into it that way. Yeah. We learned that It's a Trap himself is going to be in the series, and he's going to be going head to head with Thrawn. We're going to get some epic space battles then.
Hell yes.
That'll be good.
That'll get like a whole episode that's just the beginning of Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, right. We got confirmation Hayden Christensen is back. He actually was on stage.
Is it a bummer they didn't announce Kenobi?
Him being in it, you mean?
Yeah, because the speculation is more flashbacks, and we're going to see the three of them in the Clone Wars. I kind of want to see that.
But don't you think they want to save that?
Sure.
I think they want to save that and go, let's wait until people get season 2 in advance and leak it out to Twitter. Because they're a bunch of fucking assholes.
That's the fair thing
wait
to
for
do.
that.
Yeah, yeah. And they recasted it. It's played by Hugh Grant.
Oh, my God. Just that stumbling, bumbling. Hello.
Hello there.
Recast Hugh Grant.
Oh, boy.
That's another one, Ro. He's going to post that. There's going to be an image.
Yep. You heard it here first.
Confirmed.
Oh.
Hugh Grant to replace Ewan McGregor.
Watch. Oh, fuck. What's the name of it? It's not Heredity. That's the older one. What was you would say it's a horror movie. It's him and, God damn it, I'll have to look
Hugh
it up.
Grant?
It is amazing. Yeah. I'll look it up. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, he strikes me as one of those guys who can get to that place. It's just not his normal personality, you know?
Yeah, he's been actually like the last 5 years, anything he's done has been really fucking good.
Sometimes I feel like guys like that settle into a zone where they're just kind of like, I'm going to take some swings here and do some different shit because I'm sick of being just this person that was in all these fucking rom-coms and stuff. I want to do something else.
I'm better than just Julia Roberts' love interest.
Right. There's a murderer's row of them. So let's see. Yeah, so Hayden Christensen back. Well, I was going to say, like, it makes sense, of course, the last scene that we saw of Ahsoka and Sabine, he's sitting there looking over them as a hollow. So you would assume he'll be back. And like you said, flashbacks make a lot of sense too. Mm-hmm. The whole Ghost crew will be back. Finally, we're going to get Zeb. I can't wait for the Zeb Ezra reunion.
Right.
That's going to be fun.
I just want to see all the rebels
together.
Sans the dead ones on screen together. Yeah.
They'll have a picture of Kanan that they're holding.
Oh yeah.
His ponytail. Production on season 2, I think it begins this week. They said it was going to be within a week, and that was almost a week ago, so they must be on it now. It's set to release in 2026. I'm assuming late summer or fall, most likely.
Probably summer, yeah.
Talking about the Mortis gods, Filoni said, it's a big mystery. The father's there, the son's there, most of the daughter's there, so they're going to get
most of the daughters there, he said?
Well, I think he's talking about the statues.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because at first I read that quote the same way you just heard it, which was like, what do you mean most of the daughters there? I think it's because you see the full son and father, but the daughter's kind of like partially broken off. So we're going to get into that Mortis God stuff, which I'm really interested in seeing that. They did show a trailer of some sort. I guess it was some sort of like 80s style retro concept art piece that doesn't really have any footage because they haven't filmed anything really. And so it's just almost this concept stuff that they showed, like a little teaser. And apparently there's going to be a good Ahsoka Balin battle. So looking forward to that. That was kind of it on Ahsoka. Quick note on the video game front. They did share a trailer for the new DLC content for Star Wars Outlaws, that game I love. And it looks pretty large for just a DLC. It's with Hondo. It's going to be called Pirate's Fortune. It looks kind of fun. It's coming out May 15th. And they also showed a trailer for a new game called Star Wars Zero Company, which is kind of more like turn-based video game. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the graphics look cool. I don't think it's necessarily my style of game, so but it looked nice. But then one of the bigger ones was animation, and in animation two things that really stood out. Well, three, I guess. But the first one was that they showed the first episode of Ventress. Yeah. The Ventress arc from Tales of the Underworld. Sounds like it's picking up right where Dark Disciple left off.
Right. Yeah, because there's mentions of that, right?
Uh-huh. Gonna get some Quinlan Voss talk about the path, things like that. So I can't wait for that series. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
But then they dropped a big one. I love it because they have the animations thing with Whitwer like hosting. And they're like, let's show this video. And it's Maul is back. Called Maul Shadow Lord. It's a full series. It's going to come out next year. And did a part of you go, Maul again? You think people out there were going, Maul again?
Well, yes, a part of me did do
for
that, but it makes sense because it seems like they've been trying to put this story out one way or another. And because Solo didn't work out, they're going this route. And I think it'll work better in animation anyways.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Because, the storyline is supposed to be him kind of building up this whatever crime syndicate. And it's supposed to happen just a little bit after Clone Wars ended. So there's a lot of stuff you can do there. I love Sam Witwer, so I'm excited to have him back doing that stuff. But it also includes, because they showed some footage and some pictures and stuff, it included a reddish-looking Twi'lek apprentice, which makes you think, okay, everybody's starting to speculate, is that Darth Talon? And that was a whole concept that, well, first of all, the pictures you see of Darth Talon online, like, not safe for work.
Right. Yeah.
Very sexualized.
Unless this is like the Andor version of animation, she's going to have much more clothing on.
I think so. Well, she's also much younger. So this is, him bringing her along. But Darth Talon was going to be involved in the sequels if George Lucas made them. So interesting that they're kind of dipping into that. Because I think even Witwer said, we're taking some of the plans that George had and kind of doing something with it.
Which works out because like this could be an introduction to the character, and whether something happens later on or not, this could be, so if we see a live action later, we're like, oh, we've got a story already behind this character.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, so I'm guessing probably early next year, 2026 maybe. I would guess they're already deep into working on it and all that stuff. I know animation takes a while. And then the other one was Visions. Season 3 is coming in October. There's going to be a couple sequels. The Duel, the first one that was shown in season 1, that Ronin character, they're going to do a second one of those. They're going to do a follow-up to Village Bride, which I can't remember that story very well. They're also going to, of course, do a follow-up to Tatooine Rhapsody.
No, they are not. Isn't one of them getting like a full series?
Yes. So the Ninth Jedi, they're going to do a sequel, and then it's also going to get like a limited series later, which is interesting. Crazy. So quite a lot of stuff with Visions. I struggle with that style of animation a little bit. I do think they're interesting and fun as short stories. A whole series... I mean, I'll watch it, but it's not as exciting.
I don't remember which one.
Series.
I'll have to look it up. What one the Ninth Jedi was?
It was the one where, how do I explain it? It was the one where like the guy invited all those people, and he was going to give them lightsabers, and then a bunch of them turned out to be Sith and tried to jump him, and a couple of them were like more Jedi, and they kind of had to fight back. And
that sounds familiar. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the gist of it.
All right.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There's another Star Wars Lego show. I try. I can't get into those. You
tried to do what?
I try to get into those Lego Star Wars things. I just can't really get into them very much. No, they're fine. But they're doing another one. It's called Rebuild the Galaxy Pieces of the Past. So there's a season 2 of ILM's show, which we talked about. I guess it's going to focus more like on the prequels and Jurassic Park and Pirates of the Caribbean. And it also showed a bit about Ahmed Best and all the motion capture stuff he did for Jar Jar. And it also kind of, I guess, touches on some of the stuff he went through. Did you see him at Celebration when he was on the panel for this talking about it?
I saw a clip of something, yeah.
It was really interesting. He was talking about the Star Wars fandom and saying like how like there's part of the Star Wars fandom that's pretty brutal. And everybody's real quiet.
Yeah.
And he's like, he could have easily taken the fuck you guys route, but he went a different way. And he was kind of saying it like, you react to certain things because you care. And we care, we like kind of like saying like it matters to us what you think. We care about you and what you want to see in these projects. We're working to try to make something that you're going to enjoy. So you went full high road. It was a pretty cool way to handle that situation, I thought, for Ahmed Best. Because he could have easily been like, fuck you guys, you ruined my life for 10 years and I was suicidal. Instead, he's like, hey, I get that you're passionate.
Come full circle, right?
Yeah, I think at least to a point where people aren't, don't shit on him anymore.
And that's the safest place you're going to go.
Right.
To take, to talk the high road and be, those aren't the people you're going to be like, you fuckers ruined my life, because they're there for the love of all of it.
Right. But I'm saying, I think addressing those people in a friendly environment was a good decision. And also a way to show others that like, so yes, we all have differences on those people's opinions and everything like that. But at the end of the day, they are fans. That's where it comes from. Even if some of the shit they say is just incredibly whack.
Yeah.
Which, we're going to get to that in a minute. What we didn't get, very little or no talk of Rey outside of just the casual mention of the Kinberg and...
I wanted to go back to the Starfighter, the synopsis. The last part of the synopsis was... Sure. Doesn't it say, and some help from a...
Oh, does it say that? I might have missed that.
An older established something, which it was kind of coded, could be, because remember they said they were trying to, there was a few scripts that were being written and Rey kind of fit into each of them, and it just depended on which one came first and how her story would be that would move the other ones. It
would have to be a very minor role, I think, because I mean Levy's setting up the film as if it has no reliance on the sequels at all and is not related necessarily. So if you're going to bring her in, it's got to be pretty minor.
Yeah.
But you're right. They did talk about that, about including her in a bunch of different projects. So could be. No skeleton crew, which you reminded me of. They didn't say anything. And we were going into it. We were thinking, I hope they say something, because if they don't, I don't know if we're going to get another season.
I mean, they had something for the Acolyte, but nothing, no panel, no mention, nothing of the skeleton crew.
And you've got panels on fucking everything.
Yeah.
Like we joked about, they've got a Padme's closet panel, but you don't have anything talking about skeleton crew. I know they did a bunch of stuff, or not a bunch, but they did some stuff in the 23 celebration. But
I think that's what some of this stuff was held back for, is that way they have stuff to talk about or announce or do panels on or whatever for D23. And that's usually during the summer.
Oh, you're thinking, sorry, and you're right. I said D23. I was thinking of Celebration 23, but yes, I think they are saving something for that. But I hope they say something, because otherwise we're not getting that series anymore. There was a one and done and gone, which would be sad, because I, really enjoyed it. I talked about, we got Manny Jacinto talking about, I mean, there wasn't really anything to talk about as far as the future of the Acolyte, but the fans were chanting season 2 to him, and he was, going along with it. So you can tell he wants to come back. And the last thing is that the next celebration was announced, and it's April 1st to 4th, 2027 in Los Angeles. Not Anaheim? Los Angeles?
Not Anaheim this time. That's what D23 is.
D23 is in Anaheim?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought they would have done it in Anaheim again, just considering the accommodations and the proximity to Disneyland and everything. Because, I mean, you can imagine Galaxy's Edge is going to be a hot mess around that time.
Oh, yeah.
It's just overloaded with nerds. And will we have a FACPA presence at the 2027 celebration?
I think so.
That's the question.
Why not? Let's. We're gonna put a swear jar together.
Yes, I liked how you already started one.
Yep, and then we'll start. I think we've got enough listeners where they can throw in $1 or $2 at us.
We'll get there.
Yeah, per episode.
I mean, we got a couple years.
Yeah, we'll save the money.
Do we need to start a Patreon?
I'd like to go one of these. I think we should. Yeah.
It's much easier for me than it is for you. So yeah, I'd be up for doing it. It'd be fun.
Well, you can fucking skip over there?
It's not that close. It's a 16-hour drive.
Yeah. I'm looking for a reason to go back. I was just there for a few days. I didn't get to do any of the LA things I wanted to do. So I'm ready to go.
Well, we'll work toward it. Maybe that'll be our last episode ever of the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Go out with a bang. Some people have joked, they're like, the first day of celebration is going to be April Fool's. That's going to be very confusing.
Yeah, it is.
Everything's going to come out that day. I love when you get people who still do April Fool's jokes. And you're like, really? Still doing it? Okay.
You're starting to get old.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk Andor. So we talked about kind of how we're going to approach this. Overall thoughts I wanted from your perspective on, because at first watch, when I first watched this, I was watching with the homies, my lads, and I was like, does this feel a little slow? Like the first episode and a half. Second watch, I was like, oh no, it's not slow. But at first it's because it's a lot of setting the table. It's a lot of talking about what's going to happen. It's a lot of catching up, setting pieces in motion and all that kind of stuff. Not in the sense of like, oh God, this is so boring. I just thought, okay, they're really kind of taking their time here to get this going. It's a good thing this is 3 episodes and not 1, because people be fucking bitching. But in second watch, you realize it's picking up more than you think. Certainly by episode 2, like about midway through, it really kicks in and just kind of goes full throttle after that. There's a lot more humor in this season. Did you notice? A lot more goofiness that they've kind of included that you did not see in the previous season?
There's some lightheartedness or some there's humor where you wouldn't expect it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is Star Wars-esque,
Yeah. I think
we didn't see it much in season 1.
It fit right. So. There's the one shot that fucking, I lost it. Well, there's a couple where I laughed out loud. One of them was you even put the guy yelling on the island.
Yes,
that was, and then
all the Syril Dedra stuff.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. So I sent you that. I forwarded you that featurette. You should watch that in full when we're done here. But that
was classified. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's like it gives you a nice little look at the behind the scenes stuff, and you just see how much these sets are fully built out. Like that opening sequence where he's in the hangar on Sinar, I think is what it's called. That's a full set. Like,
that's crazy.
And all the stuff in the fields, of course, Amina Rao was legit. The Chandrilla complex was legit.
Yep.
You know, there's mostly real. Even like the TIE fighter escape was real.
Well, I was going to go with that, with the fact that like they built it.
They did build it.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah, pretty cool. What were your other overall thoughts? Just like getting back into season 2, did you feel like it kind of?
I think they nailed it. I think the drastic difference to me was how are they going to tell this story and still let like scenes breathe when it seems to be more compressed for a year, you know? But
for sure,
they did that, but they also like, it took me a minute because like I was noticing like you'd get like 2 minutes and then all of a sudden just jump into another scene. And, you know, some of them would be a little bit longer and then it'd bounce. And I'm like, oh, it didn't do that. The first season, we didn't see Mon Mothma or Saw, did we? In the first 3 episodes.
We didn't see Mon, Saw, didn't see Dedra.
Yeah.
Syril. No, sorry, we did see Syril, not Dedra.
Right.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that we didn't see at all. So you're right. There were a lot more cuts going back and forth. But it
all worked really well.
Yeah, because there's essentially 4 different things going on. There's 4 different areas that they're touching on and kind of cutting back and forth. And that's why I thought to kind of go through these episodes, maybe we just kind of go grouping by grouping instead of like in order. I think it makes it a little bit easier. So, to kick it off with Cassian stealing we're going to call it a TIE interceptor.
Yeah. I love that they opened up with a heist.
Yeah, right. I think they want to get your attention.
Yeah. Reminded me of my kid trying to steal the car out of the garage.
Right, exactly. Keep the headlights off. You get a couple things there, though. You get Cassian you see that he's now becoming more of a leader and trying to inspire people, just like he's been inspired to join. So that was kind of cool. But then the other thing is you just see that he was not familiar with this ship, and it shows because he does not know how the fuck to drive it.
Right, but he's confident he can fly anything.
Yeah, well, right, but it takes him a while to figure it out. There's a lot of hilarity in the bumbling around that hangar. Very much reminiscent of Rey when she first tries to fly the Millennium Falcon, but just even worse. Like it's even tougher. I like how the second he gets inside, he just kind of looks it around like, the fuck is this? I don't even know where to sit.
There's no seat.
The backrest pops up behind him. He's like, okay.
Oh, yep.
And then, like you said, luckily he can pick these things up pretty quick because he's able to fend off some ties that are in pursuit and get off of this planet that we're calling Sinar. And then he lands on this jungle planet, this mysterious jungle planet, looking to hand over that ship to another rebel called Porco. But what he finds is some other rebel faction called Maya Pei, which was referenced by Saw in season 1, by the way.
Okay.
We'll come to find out is actually funded partially by them, by Luthen and the crew. And these people just fully illustrate the discombobulation of the state of the rebellion at this point, because they can't stop arguing with each other long enough to fucking focus on anything.
Explain to me real quick before we go further, like what was the plan between Andor and so he's supposed to land here and drop the ship off to Porco. He's going to get in his ship.
Yep.
That seems to not be ready to take off. It seemed a little shifted.
It makes me wonder if that ship had been damaged since he had been gone.
Oh yeah,
not him on landing. Yes, because it had like a fucking tree going through it or something. It was not in good shape.
And if this group is funded by Luthen, how do they not know what happened with Porco? I said Porco.
I don't know. They're stupid. Obviously, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. I think this just speaks to how the fact that you're having to put funds into a lot of people who don't know what the hell they're doing and are so confused, but you're just trying to build and build and build this group, this rebellion. But look how far they have to come by Rogue One, by A New Hope, to be organized enough to take that shit on. Like they are all over the map right now. So I think his thinking was, I'm not going to tell them any more than they need to know, so they don't know who this other guy is. And it seems like they end up on this planet almost by accident. They're dropped off by the one guy's brother or something, and he goes back somewhere else for, quote, survivors. And they're just so stupid. They're like, oh, who's this guy?
Right.
And the Porgo is like, fuck, I'm not playing with these guys, and he gets killed for it, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
There's just a lot of comic relief with this crew. They just bicker about everything, especially those two dudes who are like, I'm the rightful leader. I'm the rightful leader. They're trying to figure out how the hell they're going to fly the ship because the woman that is the pilot doesn't know how it works. And Cassie's like, yeah, exactly. I didn't either.
And I'm not telling you.
And then it all kind of comes to a head when they're bickering, and then the one guy shoots the pilot, their local pilot, part of their group, and they start fucking shooting at each other, and then Cassian's basically corralled by one of the groups, and they retreat back to his ship. And
all he cares about is drinking some fucking water.
I know, he's just trying to get that water. Yeah. I like how he's like, hey, it's not going to rain forever. Might want to gather some of that water up, idiots. I mean, they don't know what they're doing. At one point, he says something about you should set a perimeter, and the guy goes, I was going to do that. Yeah. It's like, good idea. Mina Rao, we got our old Ferrex buddies sharing a little domicile in the wheat fields. Poor Bix is just, I mean, she's looking better.
Yeah.
But she's clearly still having a lot of trauma to deal with because she's having nightmares about that doctor. What was his name? Gorst or something? What was his name?
I think it's Gorst.
And so that's still fucking with her mind. She's, just so much trauma for her. And she's about to have that tripled in this arc. They spot an Imperial ship coming in. And it turns out that they're there to do some sort of census and audit, which is not good for them because they are illegals on the planet.
Right.
They do not have credentials to be there. And they're just, they're kind of operating as farm laborers and mechanics.
What a timely topic to touch upon.
All this stuff is.
It's
all very reminiscent of days of old and current situations. And they're still waiting for Cassian to come back. Cassian. And did you catch the picture of Marva by the radio?
I did.
Oh,
yeah.
That's sad. Heartbreaking. That's kind of all they really show of them in this episode is just kind of them realizing, oh shit, the Empire's here and we better figure out what they're going to do next because we could be, picked out. Chandrilla, by the way, when they first start showing you Chandrilla, I don't know if you noticed the music in the scene, and this is probably just me and my dumb mind. It sounded almost like the score of Road to Perdition. So listen to it again and tell me what you think.
All right.
It just has that same kind of vibe to it. I love that fucking movie, by the way. Great views of Chandrilla over the course of these 3 episodes. Like, they really show it off.
I was like, what are we watching? Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, right. They have their trek.
Yeah.
They should have played that. They should have played that music there. Who is it who does that? Oh, it's in the Kevin Smith movie when the guy's like, here, let me show you what Lord of the Rings 1.
Yeah, he walks around.
And then the one where he just steps aside.
He fucking throws up. He's so mad.
Oh, man. So the Mothmas are welcoming wedding guests into town. And you get kind of that seemingly one shot that goes on for a long time of Mothma meeting all these different people. I thought that was really cool the way they did that.
That woman, like, I give her praise. We talk about it all the time. But seriously, like, she needs to be recognized. The amount of emotions that you see her go through and like her keeping things to herself or recognizing something, like you see her notice Luthen by the sound of his ship. And that's when she's on the move and she's greeting people and she's saying something without saying something or saying something and saying something. And then she gets to him and that whole conversation. It's like, God, man, she can just do it all.
Yeah, well, so many scenes are her having a pleasant conversation, quote unquote, and then the second she turns, her face just fucking drops.
Yeah,
I mean, somebody check her blood pressure. It's got to be a problem.
Oh, it is.
She needs to be on meds.
Yeah. Well, she's on antidepressants.
Depressants?
Oh, it's begun. Antidepressant. Yeah, because they talk about it in the book.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
oh, well, she should be on it.
She talks about how she's on it, yeah.
She's got a lot on her fucking mind and a lot on her plate. And then, and a lot, by the way, the wardrobe on this woman.
Man.
I mean, she must have 9 costume changes in the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, I know.
I know it's a wedding, but she is just
and not
all
one
over
of
the
them
place.
could we see her change her fucking clothes.
I mean, can a guy ask for that? They're starting to show a lot more, so
I think we can ask.
Yeah, you
we
go
can't
ahead.
Demand.
You go ahead and send that request in. I want a future Mon series. Yeah, so she has this. Well, at first she has this chat with her assistant Erskine. I don't know if you remember who this person is, and you may have heard of this.
I didn't know anything, but on Twitter I saw something, and then I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he's the guy. He's got a helmet on in it, but he's the guy in Rebels who helps her get to the Ghost Crew. So kind of cool that they included that. And then her cousin Vel arrives, but obviously, like you said, she's totally distracted because here's Luthen. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" He's like, "Davo hired me to bring in a cool artifact for the wedding."
Right.
How convenient. Clea is there too, and she is not happy to be there. She just wants to be monitoring comms. She can't do it there. She's pissed off. She's trying to, give him updates on Andor's mission, but it's difficult to do, and she's not happy.
What is the backstory between her and Vel?
Because they don't like each other, you mean? Because they have this little sassy relationship?
Yeah, it's almost like they had a breakup.
It could be.
Because like there's just like this weird energy between them.
There is, and it was there in season 1 when Vel went to the gallery, and she was kind of, getting into it with her. Yeah, there is some weird vibe there, isn't there?
Yeah.
I don't know, but Clea's not happy to be there. She would rather be anywhere else, frankly, but she'd really rather be back on Coruscant. And then also Mon sees her old buddy and boyfriend take Holma. He's like, maybe we can have a little chat later. Oh boy. I don't know that we had him on our Death Watch discussion.
Nope,
if we did, we should have.
I picked up on it pretty quickly. Yeah.
Oh, goddamn. Later on, speaking of Tay, he tells Mon that he and his wife have separated and that he wants to talk about the Foundation, but then they're interrupted because she's got to go.
He tells her after she already knows, right? Because Perrin knows.
No, this is still the first day.
Okay.
This is episode 1, so this is still the first day. Perrin starts talking shit to her the next morning when he's like, your friend got drunk and was talking.
Your boyfriend. Doesn't
your
he call her
boyfriend.
your boyfriend?
Your lover. Your lover.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
I like how she plays dumb every time he brings it up. Like, who he's talking about.
Right. Well, I think that, like reading the book and then seeing this isn't the first time they've had these conversations.
Okay. Yeah, I need to read that book for this context. So at this point, all he does is say, I want to talk to you about the Foundation, but they're interrupted because Lita is upset because her fiance won't hold her hand.
Yeah.
Fucking teenagers.
Oh. He's like, I can't walk around with a boner with my mom around.
These robes don't hide boners well, okay?
There's no restriction.
No, there's not at all. It's free wheeling. It can go anywhere.
Yep.
Then we finally see the Imperials at what they call the Malthine Divide, which from the trailer, I thought this was Raven's Peak, but it makes sense that it's not, since Tarkin's in the dark, which it totally aligns up with Rogue One. He doesn't know until way later. So Tarkin and Yularen have no idea of this plan that Krennic's, working on. He's dealing straight with Palps. After Krennic lays the ground rules about this conference being top secret and not to be shared with anybody, he's puts the projector screen up and they play a 1950s style tourism video.
Yeah, we're watching a classroom projector movie.
That was amazing. Everybody watching it, their faces just like, the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah.
And then he makes his pitch about how the Emperor's energy initiative, which would give him access to unlimited power.
Right.
Now, I guess that's where that comes from. And how it's key to the Empire, but this is all just a cover up for the Death Star project. They're calling it the energy initiative, but really it's just to fuel that. And then Gorman is so interesting because there's this mineral called calcite that can be mined from the planet. And he's like, you're all here to help deal with any resistance we get from the Gormans in extracting that mineral.
Yep.
Like, okay. And then he says, there's only one problem, or his experts say, there's only one problem with that. So when we mine it, it might make the entire planet implode.
Yeah.
So that could be a problem. Oh God, let's talk about probably my favorite part of episode 1, the Ministry of Enlightenment. These two guys, first of all, great name.
Yeah.
But these are like two sociopath PR guys who are sharing their propaganda tactics of how they've created this narrative around the Gormans as these arrogant, holier-than-thou troublemakers.
Couldn't they get John Hamm and what's his name from
Mad Men?
Mad Men, yeah.
Yeah, right. It is, the way they talk about it, like when they're like, remember this? That was us. We did that.
Yeah, we did that.
And then I like how the guy goes, we love the spiders. It's the perfect representation of the people of Gorman. Very much on brand for what we've created for them. I mean, these fucking guys.
Man. But this is like all true to life, like wartime propaganda and all this stuff. Like everything that they're doing in this, in this mountaintop resort, right, is based off of. Isn't there like there was a place where Hitler?
It's that Nazi conference they had that was like when they came up with what do they call it, the final solution or whatever for the Jews. Like basically, we're going to round them all up and kill them all.
Yeah.
it was decided at this conference, much like this. That is that's very much where it takes the inspiration from. But these fucking guys. So, and really they, in addition to this being this crazy conference, they nail the kind of like offsite feeling here of, they're like, we're showing movies, we're doing like mid-session breaks where you can have snacks.
Like, how fucking, that might be the most horrific thing of all of it, is like, you know what? We're talking all this shit, but we're going to take a coffee break.
Yeah. Pretty good. Look like pretty good food.
Check our emails.
Right. Check your emails. Got to use the bathroom. We're going to take a bio break, guys.
Oh,
you
my
go
God.
figure out your stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the nature of it, I was like, is this going to go like full team building and we're going to get like trust falls and, like.
All right, everyone, we're going to set up our Slack chat.
Right. Let's go around the room and everybody share a nugget of information about yourself that not your coworkers don't know.
Is it too on the nose to name this room Gorman Massacre? Like,
oops, I added somebody from the media to the chat. Anyway.
Oh.
I like too how they're just casually contemplating, like, why don't we just do like a natural disaster or something? I mean, these people have no soul.
I know.
It's disgusting.
It is.
And then finally at one point, during one of the breaks here, Krennic goes over and talks to Dedra, and he's like, I can read you. Yeah. You've got an idea. Tell me your idea. And she says, you need a radical insurgency, like to basically cause this ruckus on Gorman that's going to justify your actions. Mm-hmm. Have you met Mr. Guerrera?
Oh, yeah.
He might be of use to you in this case.
Uh-huh.
So that was episode 1. It's going to take a while. Got 2 more to go. You ready?
Holy fuck.
That's just episode 1.
Man.
Episode 2. So we pick up. Yeah, I know. We're going to make it. You're going to get a nap out of this. We pick up where we left off with Cassian on the jungle planet being held captive by these 2 groups of dumb shits who are too busy fighting each other to solve any problems. Mm-hmm. And they're really their own worst enemies. And so then the scene with the 2 idiots yelling back and forth is what, yes, I referenced on Twitter. I put out the tweet of those guys going, "What's your name? Tony. Fuck you, Tony."
Yeah.
That's exactly what it felt like. Finally, one of them drops a challenge and they decide to face off 2-on-2 in a game of Rochambeau. Mm-hmm. What? When that started, you assumed it was going to be like some sort of battle, like physical altercation. Yeah. And they all get in a circle and just start going fucking scissors.
Tiger Claw.
Or Tiger Claw, yeah. I want to know how that game works. It's been worked out and it's posted online somewhere.
What's it called on Big Bang Theory? It's like paper, rock, scissors, Spock.
Oh,
Spock
is there another?
Something. There's 2 more. It's Spock and something else.
Oh, God. So they do the...
Yeah.
That's funny. That makes it more complicated. Cassian uses this as cover, manages to get away from his captor, and then it also helps that a dinosaur attacks some people. The fuck was that?
And I completely forgot that they had mentioned earlier that there's like monsters out there.
Yeah. And they find that the person's foot in a shoe, which I assume maybe was from that creature as well at some point.
Right.
I don't know. It was pretty dodgy. That creature almost looked a little bit, not really, but it's kind of reminiscent of what they experienced on Mount Tantus.
Yes.
Remember how there were those creatures out in the woods?
Right.
So he manages, Cassian, to get over to the tie and fly out of there because these idiots are still arguing. And they're like, oh, shit, he's leaving. But as he flies away, you realize where they are.
That was a great shot, a great reveal.
That was a full-on moment for me when that happened. That was pretty cool. Then back on Coruscant, Dedra is not digging this Gorman assignment. She wants to keep working on Axis.
Right.
But Portagaz is like, I don't know what to tell you, but you're kind of fucked. And you need to take this assignment and you need to do it well.
Yeah, and it's not a demotion, but she has to act like it is.
Right. Yeah. And so then meanwhile, we see that Syril has now been promoted to some sort of supervisor at the Bureau of Standards, and he's doing the new employee orientations now, swinging his dick around.
I'm surprised he's not like everyone has tailored clothes.
It's a requirement.
And I will do it for you.
I will use Gorman twill to make your clothes better. He's pretty fucking proud of himself. You could tell from where he is right now. Like he's feeling pretty good about where he is. So he comes home to his apartment with Dedra. They've moved in together.
I was surprised by that because I thought like the way I took the scene that they released before when she's like, turn the lights off and he's like, I can't stay. I was like, they don't live together. So
that's what it seemed like.
Do they get separated? Like does mother become too much of a problem?
Or does her job require her to be like, hey, I can't have you living with me anymore?
That could be because she's not allowed to tell anybody.
Yeah,
nobody can know.
And he clearly knows this and the nature of her job, because he's like, how was it wherever you were? Like, he's like not asking her any questions.
Right.
And then this is just the setup where they're like, we could cancel. And you're like, oh no, they're having Eedy over for dinner.
Oh man.
She touches his face, rubs his lips a little bit. There's a little bit of touching there, a little bit of what I can't think of her anyway.
That's the way she shows she cares.
I think so.
Yeah, intimacy.
Intimacy. There you go. There's the word I was
if you want to call it
that.
For her,
it's like watching two other species try to act like humans. Those two.
Right.
I mean,
oh shit, we see that in a bit too. Although we learn why. I mean, she was an orphan. She was raised by the Empire.
Right. It gives a nice bit of her backstory. There was an article that was written about that where they're like, in like 3 lines, he basically gave you everything you needed to know about her backstory.
Yes.
Pretty quickly. It's pretty well written. Back to Chandrila. Day 2 at the Mothmas.
I mean, these fuckers know how to party, don't they?
They do. 3-day fucking wedding.
On. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty nice and very lavish, and a lot of like everybody's kind of wearing the same garb. It's a lot of like gold, like soft golds and blues and shit. Everybody kind of looks the same part.
And,
creams. It's almost like these not quite pastel colors, but they're just like softer tones that almost like blend into the mountainside.
Yeah.
Apparently that was filmed in somewhere in Spain, I guess. Anyway, Clay is like, look, we got radio silence on Mina Rao. I need to get the fuck back to Coruscant.
I can't do 3 days of this.
Yeah.
We're at war, man.
She's like, I got kind of drunk last night. I'm not going to lie. And I have a raging headache. I need to get the fuck out. And I like how he's like, you're going to have to find your own ride. She's like, I found one. Like, what did she find?
She's already out. Yeah.
She sweet talked some guy or some gal into getting her a ride off planet. I don't know. Then it's time for the rehearsal dinner. And to kick it off, Tay tells Mon that his investments are tanking thanks to the rebellion.
Yeah.
And he's feeling underappreciated. Wants a little money.
A little scratch.
Yeah. And he seems very desperate. Luthen sniffs this out right away. He's like, what's going on with that guy? Because I didn't like him being involved from the start. And now he looks like he's real shifty. And I don't like that.
Yep.
I'm the only one who's allowed to be shifty. And Mon thinks like, hey, we can pay him off. But Luthen clearly is like, he's already like, I gotta
He's gone. Right.
There's no way around this.
Right.
I'm just going to let her see if she can work it out in her own mind.
Yep.
But this guy's dying.
Yeah.
Parents' toast. How about that?
Oh, you know what? Props. I give him props.
He says the world's a shit place. Let's focus on the good stuff. Let's focus on the fun stuff. Pleasure.
Yeah, there's something to say about a marriage, right? And how you're getting married. You think it's going to be like this fucking romance and nothing's ever going to be a problem. He's like, look, there's going to be problems.
Yeah.
I
got to deal with them.
Yeah.
And then get to the good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
right.
There was more meaning than one there, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you want to, no matter what's happening and what outside influences are happening, you still, you can always gamble. You can always bang the housemaids, whatever. You can do whatever you want. Drink a lot. You can get around this. He's like, what was that guy's name? Stecken? He just keeps winking at Stecken. Stecken, I got you, bud. If you need to know what to do. When the marriage gets stale, let me know. Come have a talk with me.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, me and Moth, how we work this out.
She's very much like her mother. I know exactly how to handle this situation. And then all the while that whole speech is going on, Luthen is just watching Tay, and Tay just looks like very uncomfortable. And Luthen's like, shit.
Yeah.
And then on Mina Rao, they're freaking out because they just don't know when the imps are coming, and they're making the rounds to all these different farm areas, and they know they're going to come. There's a good chance they're going to check their stuff. And at one point, they swing through there, and this lieutenant starts sniffing around Bix. Now I know when this happened, this got your dander up. Basically, asked her on a date, which she declines and says she has a husband. And that fucking creeper, you knew that wasn't going to be the end of it. Good news. That was all really of episode 2. Just kind of blew through that one. Now episode 3. So let's start with Casa Dedra.
Okay.
So Syril has his adorable apron on.
Yeah.
And is preparing dinner. I wish it said like kiss the cook or something.
It had to, yeah.
It's a missed opportunity. They're listening to some chill lounge music, trying to figure out what to wear. Black or white? Because that's kind of all we do.
The only option. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he does a bit of gray and a little bit of brown, but not a lot of vibrant colors going on in this house.
And also, this is like if communities were designed by Apple,
Yes.
You know?
Everything is very clean lines, open concept, excuse me, for the apartment. It is very open.
Yeah, it's a studio apartment.
And there's just not a speck of anything
anywhere. Because he lives there.
Yes. I think she's kind of neat, but I don't think she realizes how neat he is. Like, he is next level.
Right. Well, I think in his eyes, she's a hog.
She seems pretty neat. It's his mom who's the hog in a minute.
Oh, my goodness. Fucking truffle pig.
You see this OCD moment from Syril where he's like, he has to fix the table setting. Mm-hmm. The second he did that, I was like, are we going to have a sleeping with the enemy moment later where like she's going to mess up the dish towels and then see that they're fixed and she knows
these
he's in the
two
apartment?
Definitely tie each other up and just do things.
The dinner scene did not disappoint. It was fantastic. We figured Dedra and Eedy would either bond over teasing Syril or Dedra would stick up for him, and we got the latter. I
was surprised to see it. So I thought we'd see more where we'd see her kind of break down over, I'm done with this, but she was done with it immediately.
Oh yeah, and she already like Krennic was telling her before, like she has a plan pretty quick. She assesses things very quickly. Mm-hmm. She had already known what she was going to do. She just wait for Syril to leave the room.
She was nervous though.
Oh yeah, she was nervous.
When that fucking door, because she's got that nervous tick she does with her fingers.
She does that. Yeah, she wasn't grabbing the collar, but she was doing the tappy finger thing. And the anticipation of hearing the voice down the hallway and her angle, waiting for her to emerge, was pretty well done. I thought.
Don't you want to know what I thought you'd look like?
I know. She's just trying to fucking throw it right in her face from Jump Street.
And did we fucking call it on Uncle Harlow or what?
Well, a couple things here. One, she starts getting, first she's, getting all sloppy with the goddamn fondue. That's where you get the mother you're dripping line. A meme that will go on for a long time.
Also, I'm not quite sure she's ever had dessert in her life.
Chop.
What do you mean I don't have to murder it first?
Are you a child? Is this your first birthday? Is your first cake? It's just she should have just had it all over her mouth.
Oh my God, yes.
This is delicious. Oh man. But she tells a little bit of the story about, she's like, Cyril's father was an adventurer.
Yep.
Fancied himself an adventurer, left and never came back. Now, of course, everybody goes, it's Luthen. Luthen's Cyril's dad. That's the first thought people have. And then she mentions Harlow as well. And I'm thinking, if Luthen's anybody, it's Harlow. It's not the father, because she even looked up his ISB records and the guy's got a criminal history. Because later she says that.
I didn't connect those. Like, I don't see, you think that might be a real thing?
I really hope it's not.
Right.
I really hope that that's not tied together at all, because it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But everybody, of course, is speculating, because there's always some, hint or tie together.
Exactly. Yeah, there's always a twist somewhere.
I'm hoping it's not the case.
I think Uncle Harlow's his fucking dad.
You think? Oh, that's a good point. I can see that.
Yeah.
It is a little interesting with the mystery of his dad just taking off. I just couldn't see Luthen and Eedy as a couple.
No, I
could see them as brother and sister more than a couple.
Yes.
So then Eedy asked Dedra about her family. She's like, so my parents were arrested. I love when she goes, my parents were criminals.
Yep.
So you hold them in high regard then. They were arrested when she was 3 and she was put in an orphanage. What did she call it? A kinder something?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what she called it. But she's like, no, it was totally fine. It was really cool. It was really great there.
Everything I needed.
And Edy's like, I don't think it was a great there. And by the look on Cyril's face, do you think he knew that already, that story? He reacted really weird. I don't know if it was, I'm shocked by this, or what's my mom going to say?
I think it was more of what his mom's reaction was going to be, because then she was like, doesn't she say something to the fact, well, you didn't have a parent to love you or something?
You didn't have a mother's love, yeah.
Yeah, and I never needed that, or I never knew what I didn't have or something.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Didn't know what I was missing or something like that. She said we had everything we needed, but obviously that was probably not the greatest conditions to grow up in, and certainly shaped who she is as a person, to not have that love and all that.
Which we got to go back, okay, because you talked about her rubbing his face. Like, that was like her smearing something on him lovingly, kind of, but also like when she's getting ready and she does that fake smile. Yes. Like she's practicing to be a human.
When she smiled, I said to my younger son who was watching with me, I was like, I think that's the first time we've seen her smile, right?
Yes.
I don't think we've seen it.
I think that's the first time she's ever tried to smile.
Right.
But then she doesn't do it to her. Like she has no time to give her a smile.
No. She knows the history.
Mm-hmm.
I think he probably hasn't told her exactly what the relationship is, but I think she has picked up on what's going on here and knows that this mother was running his life and is like, I gotta fucking put the clamps on this.
He doesn't look like the kind of guy who doesn't know how not to share that. You know?
No, but I don't know that he would want to be totally forthcoming with it. I think he would tell her bits and she would pick up on those bits. But I don't know. It's enough that she essentially sits Eedy down after Syril goes and lays down on the bed.
Yeah.
That scene.
I laughed so fucking hard.
Oh my God, I was pissing my pants laughing when they showed that. But while that's happening, she just goes straight into it and basically is like, look at me. I'm the captain now.
Yeah, she did.
She goes, I like how she goes, let me tell you the plan. And that's the wrong word because that would mean that you have a choice.
Yes. I will see if he comes around quarterly or twice quarterly or something.
She said twice a month he'll come visit and I'll make sure he calls you. But that will be inversely proportional to how much anxiety you inflict on our lives.
Yeah. Man.
Basically, if you fuck with your son, it makes my life worse, and I will take that out on you.
Yeah.
By removing him from your life. And that's all you have. So fuck off.
It's almost like her punishment is if I have to show care to this man, you will be punished for it.
But I like how Eedy just fucking eats it right away. She's just like, okay. Mm-hmm. And by the time he comes out of his little nap or whatever, she's like, want some more calf? She's like, yes, Dedra. Like she's very like in lockstep with what Dedra wants to do.
Right.
Yeah. Very commanding performance there by Dedra. And like you said, Eedy, she tells Eedy, you keep going on and on about Uncle Harlow. Guy's a fucking criminal. So just so you know.
Yeah.
Is this going to be the basis for the Star Wars sitcom Tony was tossing out there?
Oh my God, I hope so.
I mean, what did you call it? You made it awkward or something? What would you call it?
Like the Star Wars version of All in the Family.
Right. Well, and it's not lost on people. I've been seeing people talk about this a lot where it's like, I like how all these people are going through these horrific things and people are starving and trying to figure out what to do with this rebellion. People are on the verge of getting arrested. People are dying. Meanwhile, the fascists are just having like a fucking domestic issue.
Yeah.
The contrast is pretty stark. Oh, and then Cassian reaches out to Clea because Cassian, is floating in space trying to figure out what the fuck to do. He has to like explain, look, the pilot wasn't there. I'm on the ship.
Like a hot rod in his ham radio.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he had taken it from his other one.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how Clea is just rolling her eyes like, you're not doing the game. We have to do the subtle telephone inferences. You're fucking this up. And he's like, I'm cutting right through this. I don't do this game. I'm stuck.
I was just held prisoner for 3 days and I barely had a glass of water.
Right. So I don't have time for your hijinks. Nobody's listening, all right? He did say that in the first season. Nobody's listening. And that's when she tells him, you can't call home. There's a blockade. And he's like, okay, bye. Hangs up and heads to Minarao.
Yep.
Chandrilla, wedding day. Lita, all decked out in her gown. And we get this great scene with her and Mon, where basically Mon's like, I can get you out of here.
Yeah. She knows what all this is.
She knows what it is. She's feeling guilt about putting her in this position, and she knows what she's going into because she did it herself. So it's kind of a double impact for her as far as, trying to make sure she knows you don't have to do this. And Lita's like, I wish you were drunk.
What an awful response.
Yes, because she listens to a lot of it, and she kind of turns to the side and thinks about it for a second, goes, I wish you were drunk. Like, oh, I'm doing this shit. She's locked in.
Yeah, which is probably the best for her, knowing what's to come.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you should embrace that life because the rest of your life is not going to be the same in a minute. And I do like the fact that when she says that, Mon's tone just fucking changes like that. She's just like, you need to wait for me to go first, bitch. Yeah. Like, I'll be... She just puts her in her place.
Put you over my knee.
This ceremony is something else. You got to step over the sacred branch. You got to get in the circle.
You got to take a year course on how to get married.
You do. This is very orchestrated. A lot of choreography.
Yeah.
And it was funny because at one point, I was joking with my son. At one point, Perrin's walking around holding something in his hands. I'm like, is that the ceremonial fucking jerky stick? What is going on with that thing? No, it's a knife.
Yep, sure is.
So he can cut her braid and even them out. I guess that's the technical way you get married. Later, they show they're given that wedding gift, which is like this. I don't even know what the hell that thing's called. It's some sort of artifact statue that's sacred to the Chandrilan people.
Yeah.
And then the disco DJ ball rolls out, and they start playing that banging Niamos house music.
Man, they got to release that single.
Well, it was in that same song was in the season 1. Excuse me, but this is just kind of the extended.
Oh, is that the same one?
Yeah, it's the same song. It's just maybe a little bit mixed up a little bit, but it's kind of just the full house version of that song.
All right.
And then everybody starts doing like all the braid brigade, I guess you could call them. They all do like this Chandrillan Vogue.
Yeah.
It's a lot of. And then Tay says goodbye to Mon. He's got to leave early. And then she tells Luthen, because Luthen's like, he's talking to fucking Davo. What's going on? And she's like, look, man, I got a meeting next week. He'll pay it. He's like, how much? What's the number? Like, basically, where does this end?
You know what the number is. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just going to have to keep paying this guy. This isn't going to work. You know, this guy's going to slip. He's, as Perrin said earlier in the episode, he's weak.
Well, yeah, and the worry was he was also buddying up to the gangster. And
exactly.
He is.
And if you're that strung out, you're going to either demand a shit ton of money over and over and over, or you're going to switch sides to somebody else, and then you're going to sell them out. So Luthen knows what he needs to do. I like how he says, you need to be protected. She goes, I don't know what that means. And he's like, how nice for you.
I know.
Right and the second she hears that,
yeah,
she turns around and goes, oh, he's going to kill him. Okay, I got it. And she just has to be okay with that.
Well, she's clearly not. She's not okay with it.
No, but she's got to accept it, you know? And like, what do you do when you're like
I don't think there's another answer, right? Yeah, or like high school boyfriend.
And yeah, high school boyfriend. Like, what are you supposed to do when you realize that you've just essentially signed their death certificate? You go get drunk.
Oh, yeah.
Was there ecstasy in those shots? Because she is feeling it.
Yeah, oh, yeah. She's on another plane.
Yes. Did you see the shot where Perrin's dancing by and notices?
Yes.
He looks at her and has this look on his face like, I haven't been laid by Mon since 10 BBY, but it's happening tonight. Oh, fuck's sake.
Got to get her home.
So then we see Tay leave the party, head to the car. New driver.
Mm-hmm. Who is it?
It's Cinta. It's Cinta. The angel of death is here.
Boy, she shows up just like when she's needed, doesn't she?
Yep. Freaking killer.
I think that's what happened. Val was like, or not, Clea. Clea was like, I'm leaving. I got a car. She told Cinta, come here, take my spot. And she's already got the fucking hat on. She's ready to go.
Oh, that could have been. I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, well, I hope Mrs. Colma, who's, maybe not divorced yet, I hope there's a nice life insurance policy for Tay, because she's about to get paid. Oh, and Vel and Cinta see each other, catch a quick glance of each other, and then Vel just basically goes and gets drunk by herself at the wedding. Poor Vel.
She just wants to be loved.
She just wants to be loved, and she cares about the relationship more than Cinta does, because Cinta's more driven by the work, and it's driving Vel crazy.
Yeah,
the work. Mina Rao, while all this is happening, we're back there with the Ferrex crew. Imperials are coming the next day. They got to pack up. Brasso's telling B2, you got to stay here with my girlfriend. He's not happy. And unfortunately, the guy's going to get left. So while Brasso is off trying to find Willman, who ran off to check on his girlfriend, he gets captured by stormtroopers. And you got to love Brasso, because he realizes, he reads the situation and goes, our homie is going to get fucked by this. So I'm going to act like he sold us out. And so he totally steps up for him and makes it look like he's not the one that, is helping them.
Top level, be the man shit right there.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Brasso just continues to deliver. Meanwhile, and here we go, that gross lieutenant pays another visit to Bix and says, essentially, I know you're illegal, but like, we could probably work it out. This whole scene was pretty tough to watch, and we'll discuss the response to it in a minute. But despite Bix telling the guy to stop, he, gets rough with her. She eventually beats him to a fucking pulp with a hammer. Jesus Christ. After the lieutenant's driver hears this, you notice how he's like not really doing anything when there's screams earlier, but then once the guy yells, he's like, oh shit.
Right.
So this is not new.
Right.
And so he reports this issue, and all the people come from the farm where Brasso is, or at least most of them, to back him up. And that's when the guy wanders out, the lieutenant wanders out, and just fucking falls face first into a table and dies.
Fuck.
And she tells the driver, the lieutenant tried to rape me, and he doesn't seem to care. That's when, Willman starts shooting, and that distracts the driver enough for Bix to shoot him. Now, Rape, the word rape uttered in Star Wars, not something we necessarily saw coming. This is definitely adult Star Wars.
Yeah.
But we've talked a bit about this on DM. There's been some posts on Twitter and stuff with people saying like how, oh, you know, having the Empire engage in sexual assault is like a bridge too far. And, you know, like whether it's unnecessary or some saying the Empire wouldn't condone this behavior. The Empire wouldn't condone this behavior. Vader would not tolerate it. Vader would not tolerate it. It's like, oh, did you all attend the sexual harassment training this past week? Are you? I mean, of all the people to cite, you're saying the Empire, who has already been proven to be a fucking disgusting organization, and they're further showing this with this.
Yes.
Plus Vader, who has murdered children, committed genocides, done horrible fucking acts, choked his wife out.
Yep.
He's going to draw the line with this? Come on. That's such a bullshit line.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I can see the argument where people don't want this in their Star Wars.
I can see that.
And I can see how, like, even with the atrocities and other things, it's more a background thing, or it's alluded to, but never said up front, like the word rape, like that grabs you. But also, like, there's a thing to be said about really good science fiction where they pull from what you're experiencing in life. Take it from what the original Star Wars was, the allegory for what it was, and what they're doing now. Yeah. And also, this is an adult show. Like it is. This is going to be something for adults to have, for us to have the conversation, and for these things. And you know what? If a kid experiences that, like, it's the real fucking world, you know. And I don't know if a kid would be. I mean, look, this is a different world than it was from 77 to 84, 83, right? Like, you know. You throw on a sitcom and they're going to hear more sexual things than now. This is like the grossest part of it, but I like, if this was like in the Skywalker saga where it's more fantasy, I think it would be more off-putting. I might have a problem with it, but I don't have a problem with it in this series.
The tone has already been set for this series.
Yeah.
And this is in line with that. It also is, this is a very common thing that has happened over history where
Star Wars
people have, not in Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
But people, like regimes or whatever, abusing power like this, and right down to the individual, like supervisor, lieutenant, whatever, abusing every power he has to be a fucking monster. I mean, this is like in fucking Braveheart when they're doing, you know, the prima nocta, the first night thing when anybody gets married and I get to fuck your wife.
I haven't seen that movie.
Oh, God damn it!
I've seen John Wick.
Okay, we got some trade-offs to do here. Regardless, this has happened over the course of history. And that's something Tony Gilroy pointed out, is he's like, look, you know, I know it's a pretty harsh thing to show, but this is the reality, and this is what bleeds into our story. And it really just continues to show you how awful the Empire is and how it can go down to those individual levels. Whether it's some edict from above that says, oh yeah, rape and pillage all you want, or not, that's what's happening. People are doing these things. Well,
even like where he said Vader wouldn't allow it, right? Even if that was true,
he wouldn't be able to stop that.
Right. But he, like the idea that he's going to be the know all of everything. Right.
Right.
Like, these people are so far out doing this shit. People are going to be shitty no matter what the repercussions is. History shows that to be true.
Of course.
You know, so, you know, I saw he had written more about it. And I think from his point of view, oh, okay, fine. You have a stance on your argument or whatever. That's fine. But I don't think it holds water. And I don't think with what this show did just in these 3 episodes and everything they're like historically referencing in one way or another, to kind of not include something like that, I
feels like you're glossing over it.
Right.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that needs to be touched on here is the importance of this scene to continue to show the changes that Bix goes through. Yeah. She's already been through the trauma of being tortured. It's still with her and in her nightmares a year later. Now she has to experience this, coupled with something that's about to happen in a second too, that we'll get to. All these things are what make you see the Bix we see in the trailer that looks like she is like gone fucking emotionless and cold and wants to kill everybody.
Yeah.
That's what's going to get her to that place. I'm hoping she doesn't fully go to that place,
right.
But she certainly in the trailer seems like in certain scenes, she's a fucking stone cold killer now and is like, I'm ready to take the gloves off.
This was the moment though, right? This is where she defended herself.
Yeah.
This is where she won the fight.
I see what you're saying. Yes. Yes.
This is like, this not happening again, no matter what type of torture it is. Like, you don't come into my personal bubble.
Right. And and I need to take this into my own hands,
Yeah.
And so, yes. Yeah, you're right. So I think it's a big character development moment for her as well. So I think it is necessary. And it's not comfortable. Of course it's not comfortable.
No, it's not meant to be. It's not meant to be.
Exactly. Not all cinema or whatever is meant to be comfortable and fun and rah, and yay, blow up the Death Star. Right. It's some of it's real and it gonna hit you in spots that you don't feel comfortable with. And that's just part of the story. And I just think it builds on her story.
I agree.
After that happens, the last thing that happens then is Cassian flies in and, just starts blowing up shit with the tie. And that allows Brasso to get away on a speeder. I think the scene they show where the slow motion of this trooper just about to shoot and then he fires at the end is the shot. That's the kill shot.
Yeah.
And then you see that he has gotten Brasso. And I hate to say it, but we called it.
Yeah, we did.
A lot of people were thinking Brasso was going to make it. I was like, he's going to die, and he's going to die first.
So he's on our bingo.
Yeah, we got that one. But it sucks to see because I really like the character, and he's just such a homie for Cassian and the whole crew, and such a caretaker for all of them.
Is like the way that they do death, won't be presented for him. There's no ash and brick or nothing.
The brick.
Yeah, he's just left in a wheat field. Like they left him.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So it was a tough loss, and it's gonna that's a big moment for Cassian as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's lost Marva, he's lost his dad Clem, and now he's lost Brasso. So these losses you compile along the way build you into this force, and this is what's going to continue to make him a little bit more. I don't know, like it's just going to kind of steal him a little bit and make him more all out on winning this cause because all these people died for this cause. I need to honor them by fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it. So, what happens next? Because here's the fun thing. Not only do we go to the next episode and see what happens in the aftermath, it's a year later.
Right? Yeah.
So it's like take home as long dead. We're going to see how they've dealt with the Brasso death and the loss and all that stuff to move on. How Bix is doing, and which is why I think you're going to see a very big change in her demeanor. And then you're going to see, where is Mon now? That's the one I'm real interested in seeing. Is like, where does this leave Mon? Where is she a year out from her
I
daughter's
think a year out, I think she's all in on the Senate and in the fight that she can give. I don't think we're to the Gorman massacre yet.
I don't either. I was going to ask you about the Gorman thing because I think you could start to plant some more seeds for Gorman here. Maybe they show Dedra going there for work stuff. I mean, at one point it looks like Syril's there, which like, was he just going to visit?
Right.
But maybe he's not. I don't know. That scene with Cassian going to like snipe somebody. I mean, that all could happen the latter part of this arc, leading into the massacre in the third arc. I mean, I think you're going to see at the beginning. I bet you in episode 4, you're going to see a lot of like Cassian taking Bix with him on these missions, like that one they showed where he's blowing shit up.
Right. Yeah. I think they're kind of a team now.
Yeah. I think you also might see Wilmon joining Saw Gerrera. I think we're going to see Saw Gerrera in this next arc.
I do too. I think there's going to be more Saw, probably more Luthen, or I'm sorry, probably some Luthen, but I think Saw and Syril and Dedra more.
Right. I still think there's a chance that Luthen dies at the end of this next arc. I know that's early, but I still think there's a chance. Because I think he died. I don't know that he dies during the massacre. I think he maybe dies during an event that happens before that, but that's just a guess. Because I didn't get the season in advance, Jay.
No one trusts us.
No, we're good with secrets.
Yeah.
I mean, don't look at our DMs. There's, and I think you're right on Mon. I think they're going to show her putting in her work in the Senate and all that. There was a voiceover at the end of that not sizzle reel, whatever that thing was. The featurette I just forwarded you, and it sounds like Masameda talking. So I think you're going to see some. Remember the guy who was like the number 2 to Palps with the fucking.
Oh yeah, okay.
Stick. Yeah. I think you're going to see him. I think you're going to see a lot more Senate action kicking up in this next arc for sure, like you said.
I think we're going to see some of the, what they're up to as well. Do you think are we going to see Krennic in every arc?
I think we'll see Krennic again in this next arc because they got to show him continuing to build on that. Even if it's just like Dedra reporting into him, talking to him about, progress, etc.
Well, you know what? In the trailer, it made it look like he shows up for the wedding.
It did, but it must not be.
It's some other event. Oh, it's the divorce.
It's their anniversary. What if they just keep doing it? First year anniversary, second year anniversary.
Yeah.
Gotta give her what is it? First anniversary is wood. I think that's what she should give. So.
It's that fucking tree branch.
Yeah. Is he gonna meet K2SO this arc or next arc?
Probably the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Yeah, that's kind of it. It's going to be fun to jump forward a year and kind of catch up on, okay, now where is everything? Well, how has everything changed in the last year since we've seen these people just for a few days?
I'm sure we pick up on a mission right away.
Yes, exactly. I think that scene where Bix walks in and shoots the guy and then she and Cassie walk out and he blows I think that's the first step. That's got to be the first episode. Maybe the first scene.
Okay.
They got to show them being way further along in their involvement in the rebellion.
Yeah. Yes, I think so.
And her especially.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for Andor. So that's how we'll try to cover Andor this season, is just kind of, take a little time, longer than normal, probably these episodes, but not, going too crazy. We have a Maul Bag from Max Rebo. He says, Sagrona Teema. I assume you're reading this after your spoiler-filled recap. Yes. Everyone who has seen all 12 episodes is gushing about its awesomeness, among other things, Max. I was left a little flat with the first 3. In season 1...
What were you watching?
It maybe just didn't hit him the same way.
Something needs to hit him.
In season 1, it worked because it was a 12-episode show. This is 4 3-episode shows, so I doubt we'll see a Skeleton Crew payoff for every Chekhov's mega cannon. So... His concern, and I understand, is that, okay, well, the first season it took their time and did all these things because it was all for a year or whatever with 12 episodes. Now you're doing these condensed versions. I don't know. Maybe he's feeling like you got to get to it. Maybe he doesn't feel like they are. I think they kind of are. Well, especially like I said, they kind of picked up the
Yavin surprise, I think, is what we go back to. What that all means. Because right now it just seemed like these squirmishing idiots in the woods, but they didn't do that for no reason at all.
Right.
So that's going to end up meaning something by the time we finish.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, this for sure be paid off. There's a few things that I think will be paid off like that. He says the lieutenant cracking his head as he fell to the ground was satisfying, though. It was. Cinta totally killed Tay's regular driver, right? Then she made Tay disappear, right? It would be funny if she showed up every arc in a different uniform and we're led to believe she killed whomever's place she's taking. I didn't think about that. She probably did have to kill that driver.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting when we see Cinta and Vel sit down together, because we see him in it looks like a restaurant or a bar or whatever.
Yeah, that looks like it might be on Gorman.
Yeah. And there's probably going to be a little I love you. Why don't you love me?
Yeah. Well, there's another shot where it shows them like outside in the dark, maybe in the rain. I can't remember, but it looks like it's Vel and maybe Cinta standing next to her. So there's some mission that they might be on together there as well.
You're chasing Amy, standing in the rain, professing their love. That's what it is.
Sure. They could do it that way. Oh, man. All right. Well, thank you, Max, for the email.
Thank you, Max.
You know what? Max gets an entry for that.
Gets an entry.
In the giveaway. So
I will read the book to him.
There you go. That should be our Patreon. Yeah. They get to listen to you read.
Every chapter is like a different version of me.
It reminds me of when you were doing the outtakes of your last attempt on the Factbo, when you were like, I can write the shit, I can't read it.
Yeah, it's like fucking Harrison Ford yelling at George Lucas.
Exactly. Didn't he just say that recently on the Marvel set too?
Yeah.
I think he just used that same line.
Yep.
Yeah, it's easy to write this, hard to read it. All right, well, that's it.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week.
Laugh it up, fuzzballs.
We have spoken.